Today I'm going to be showing you how to build a primitive static fish trap. Now, this is a very effective and efficient design. We're going to be using willow reeds because they're long and supple, but use what resources you have in the area. You can build this trap out of several different things. But it doesn't take very much to put together, no tools needed, and certainly something you want to know about if you're ever in a survival situation. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the build right now. We'll speed it up, and then after it's all put together, I'll talk about it a little bit more, put some bait in it, we'll see what we catch. Alright, to build these traps, you're going to have to get wet. And I do not know the depth of the mud that I have right here, but this is the setting that I'm looking for. One of the big things when you're building traps like this is to make sure that you're putting them in the ideal location, because this is a static trap. And what that means is that once it's built, it's there permanently or until the waters rise or fall or a flood comes through and takes it away. So location, location, location. Now our creek has stopped running about a week ago. So if you see here, we've got kind of an inlet. And this is going to be my trap volume right here. This is where things are going to come in. We're going to be building the trap over here on this side. Hopefully I don't sink too far in. But that is the ideal. We'll bait right here. And all this volume of water, all the crawfish and perch and everything else down this way will be attracted all the way down here. So that is the idea. Let's see how far I sink. I've collected a lot of these branches. And as I said before, these are willows. Whenever you're building traps, especially if you're going to have to jump in, it's always better to bring more supplies than you think you'll need. It is good to have building material. Not too bad. Some years I sink up to my knees. So this is the part where I'm going to get down and dirty. We'll speed it up. Make this thing happen. All right, I think that'll work. So here's your main idea. One large funnel made out of natural materials. We're going to go ahead and put some bait over here in the smaller pool, and this is going to be pretty much the trap enclosure. And that, over the course of the day, will hopefully attract a lot of the fish and other creatures from further down in the larger pool. Now, funnels are designed to allow and guide fish and other creatures into the trap, and they are built to discourage them from being able to get out. So go ahead and test it. Make sure your hand can go through there. If you've noticed, I've used some of the lightest pieces in the ends of the willows, and that gives it a little bit of give. So they have to push just a little bit to get in, and it makes it almost impossible for them to get back out. I can also go ahead and trench on this side just a little bit to make this the low ground, and that's going to further guide a lot of your creatures that like to go along the bottom of your creek bed right into your trap. I would not take the other side and trench that. If anything, you could trench on either side, leaving the high ground right in the middle. And that's going to further divert them from being able to find the exit. Now, one of the last things we're going to do, especially as the sun comes up, is if you'll notice in this smaller pool, there's not really any shelter. So the fish that get inside are not going to feel secure. They're also not going to have too much shelter from the sun. So I'm going to go and throw what's left of these willows into a big pile, and whatever gets caught, we'll hopefully use those to be sheltered, to feel safe, to stay out of the sun, and it'll give them somewhere else to be other than up against these walls where they can potentially find their way through. So we clean up, pick up, make it all nice and neat, systematically check throughout the wall to make sure there's no holes in here that any larger fish that get in are going to be able to get out. Hopefully today we're going after crawfish with this trap. We're not going to keep anything, but let's bait it and see what we catch. So here's a view from the front side. You've got these two curving interwoven walls, and they act as barriers as well as guides, funneling the fish and other aquatic creatures right through this entrance. This should give you kind of an idea of what it looks like, though the important part is under the water. Simple, effective, efficient. That's the idea. And it'll continue working as long as there's no holes in it. So, there you go, guys. Alright. So it has been a full day. If you take a look in there, the water's cleared up just a little bit, but there's a lot of movement. It does not have the clarity it ought to by this time. Now, I'm going to actually go in there and try and catch some of the things by hand to show you. If you were in a survival situation, you'd probably do it just a little bit differently, especially if you have some kind of paralyze your spearhead, or even kind of a branch to push everything up on bank, or some kind of net. But at this time, we were just trying to catch crawfish and some other things, and we're going to release everything. So, see what I can get. I see claws every once in a while, watching this pool for a little while. Some fins. The only issue that we might have is perhaps turtle being in here, but it's really not that murky. Let's go ahead and see what this thing has to offer. Alright. That was fast. Alright. So small crayfish. These are your red swamp crayfish. And he was just hanging out here in the willow branches that I put out. Put him on the other side. Come up against this. Oh yeah. You can check the edges and the walls. More crawfish, because they're going to be up underneath and attempting to try and hide. Two more crawfish right there. Pretty good catch. And this is something that I have no idea what it's native to, but most everybody knows what these are. That's a hippopotamus. Alright, that's your sucker fish that a lot of people see in the aquariums. I think they've made their way up the San Antonio River and up into my creek. Healthy little guy. I don't know if they're terribly invasive, if they're messing anything up out here, but you never know what you're going to find. Every once in a while they come about. Here is your bluegill perch. Gorgeous little perch. You can see how fast I'm able to pull these things out. And you just go around feeling. Man. And it just makes it really, really simple. All right, some more red swamp crawfish. I'll go ahead and just kind of catch everything I can in here and show y'all what this is all about. So, a few highlights. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and attempt to catch a few things with a single hand. That made it look too easy. There's your red swamp crawfish right there. Oh. There is your cichlid. We call those Rio Grande perch. Just kind of feel for things. There you go. As long as you move slowly, a lot of times the fish won't react at all. So let's just keep on systematically. Here we go. Alright, so another cichlid. And a crawfish. And you definitely want to check all the corners. Alright, so nothing right there. Oh, there we go. Another little bluegill. At this point, it's time to go ahead and check up underneath. That's a good size one. Up underneath our willow pile. So, there you go, bud. Let's see what we got. So it is time to go ahead and check up underneath our little enclosure. And while I'm doing that, it might be exciting, it might not be. Feeling perch here and there. Let's talk about some of the other ways that you can go ahead and attract your fish or crawfish or whatever you're trying to trap to get inside. Now we used a little bit of bait. Anything that whatever your creatures are going to be going for. Cooked food, bones. You've seen a lot of my videos. Tried dog food, but that's not really what you're going to have on hand whenever you're surviving. That can definitely bring in lots of what you're trying to trap. But if you've noticed, this is only a small section of the creek, and it's a long inlet. And so if I was really wanting to get this stuff really fast, especially if I didn't have the bait that I needed, I could go all the way up to the end of the stream and get a big branch and jump in the water and sit there and swatch it back and forth and run everything all the way down to the end of this pool. If I do that, everything should, for the most part, at least a large portion of it, will get running here, and you can have what you need very quickly. That's one way of doing it. So, another one of your Rio Grande perch, or cichlids, depending on where you're from. Upsides and downsides to this trap. It is definitely static. So you need to be very, very, very cognizant of where you're putting it, because you might put it someplace that it's not going to trap anything. Another one of your cichlids. We will catch something different. So trap placement is very important. But I want to show you this type of trap for a very specific reason. And that is that if any of you have ever tried to make willow traps, the type that actually come out of the water, I mean your basket traps after your geese mods, you know that that is really freaking hard to do. First time out, second time out, you'll attempt it a dozen plus times and you still might not come out with a functional trap. So that is a big issue whenever you're out there and about, if you don't have the time to actually practice these things, or if you just don't have the superior materials to build such a trap. you can just about make that out of anything. There's your bluegill, the red swamp. And just a while ago, splashed around something much larger. I really hope I can get my hands on it. It's about the size of a small catfish, but clearing out this pool this way makes it a bit difficult. Just a bit. Let's see if we can't go ahead and pull them up. Oh, more crawfish. They're everywhere now. So, whenever you're building these traps, you need to build something that, son of a gun, came after me. Good medium-sized crawfish. You need to build something that is not going to take up all your time, and you can easily spend an entire day trying to build a trap that is able to be pulled out, only to find that it's too inferior, or it's not going to work. So, I guarantee you that you can build one of these traps first time out, first attempt, without too much trouble. More crawfish. And you can trap creatures that are in the water. This is a beginner trap, works really well all around. Okay. Handfuls of bait. Play around with it. Now, once the creek comes up, this trap is no longer going to be functional. If the creek continues to dry out, again, your trap is no longer going to be functional. You're not going to be catching anything. You might develop a fan club at nighttime with the raccoons, because once they find out that there's movement in here and that you have a lot more concentrated fish and crawfish, they'll come in here and they'll have a party trying to eat it all. Same thing goes for the daytime. You'll have all the herons and storks and everything else come in, and they will just love you. So definitely be advised of that. You can go ahead and put some kind of shelter over the top. If you're surviving, that might be exactly what you want to do, is track different kinds of birds and animals during the night and day to be able to get more protein. But it just kind of depends. Do know that this needs to be tagged. This is a survival trap. Ours are tagged. We're doing this legally. This would be classified as a crawfish trap, but it needs to be an option that you use only if necessary. Once the use is done, I'm going to go ahead and pull this up this evening. This is the end of this trap, so I want to deactivate it. But guys, hope you liked it. Show you a couple more shots of it all the way around. But like and subscribe, and as always, till next time. Alright, check this guy out. That is a large pleco. He is covered in nasty mud and muck. Go ahead and clean him up a little bit and let him go. I believe that's what was splashing around in here. Oh, it's beautiful. That is the largest one I've seen out here. Check that out. Beautiful, beautiful. You never know. You never know what you're going to catch. Let's go ahead and let him go. What do you think, Mighty Pup? It's been a day? Are you done? I think so. Take this down and go home. You get a bath. You're gross.